Yes. So, hi everybody. I'm BJ, the genealogy specialist at Maine State Library. And today, for this topic, I'm going to talk about browser extensions. So, if you have a house, you can put on an extension and you get some extra function from whatever, whether it's another bedroom, you put on a garage, you expand your kitchen, you get more function out of whatever you do. And browser extensions are essentially the same thing, that you're adding a little bit extra to your browser in order to get a little extra function. And so I'm going to talk about the extensions in Chrome because I don't want to try flipping back and forth. But there are also extensions for other the other browsers. I'm just checking one thing to make sure. There we go. All right. So there are all sorts of extensions. Some of them are just for fun. Some of them are actually very useful. So let me start sharing my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So one of the extensions I have is when I open a new window, instead of just getting the plain Google page, I get a picture from Google World, or Google Earth, sorry. And so this is actually a picture, it's a satellite picture of somewhere of a village in Africa. If I reload, we get a different one. But I'm a bit of a geography geek, and so this is fun. And if I scroll down, you can see the last several. So here's the one that was from Africa. This one is the Bahamas. That one's Somalia. That's Mexico. And if I wanted to look at one of these more carefully, I click on it and it comes up. So this is an extension that does this. There's another one that I have on my personal computer that instead of this puts up various images from art museums with cats in them. So that's just, as I said, this one's strictly for fun. So let me show you a couple of the others. I'm going to go here. Let me close that out so I can. So this is Ancestry. And this is an ancestor of mine, Zebulon Hill. And I think I showed his will last week when I was talking about female ancestors, because he very nicely, in his will, mentions 3 daughters by their married names, and then 2 grandchildren with the last name Ashby. There they are, to my grandchildren, Benjamin Ashby and Elizabeth Ashley. So there are different ways I can save this record. I can just download it as it is. I can print it. I have an extension, and you'll see there's a tiny little icon right here that looks like a camera. And when I click it, it gives me the option of capturing what's visible, a selected area of the entire page. So I'm going to just capture the visible part of the page. And what it's done is it's taken a screenshot of what's there. And I can now manipulate this. And so let's say I want to crop it, and I want to crop out all of the ancestry stuff, like the toolbar and so on. But I want to leave the source, so I crop it. Now I've got this. So what I can do at this point is, let's say I know I'm interested in Abigail Allen. So I can do a line arrow and do this to point out who I'm interested in. Or maybe let's do this, let's do an orange box. I'm going to do this. And let's say I'm also interested in the Ashbys. I can do that and hit done. And at this point, I can either print it or I can download this as an image and save it. And then I can open this up as the image. And you're probably not. Let me stop sharing and reshare. I think. So do you have the image with the arrow now? Okay. So I can now, this is a regular JPEG, and I can, except it's a PNG, but it's a graphics file. I could now plop this into PowerPoint. I can put it in an email. I could put it in a Word document. It's a regular, and it has what I want it to have. And so I use this more than any other extension. Almost all of the graphics you guys see in my PowerPoints, I got this way. And the reason I like this over the standard screenshot, there are a couple things. One is I generally work with 2 screens. And if I do the Windows built-in screenshot, it gives me both screens, and I only want one. And this one, I like the tools of being able to crop and annotate. So this way I could, you know, if I want to make it easy to see what I'm looking at, I can do an underline or a box. And that way I know why I saved it. Or if I were to put this in a PowerPoint, this would draw your eye to that as well. Does that make sense to everybody? Why this is nice to have? Yeah, if I was working on my research, I'd probably save the whole file image from Ancestry. But in terms of being able to look at a small part of a document, so this is called Awesome Screenshot. There are some others as well. As I said, I happen to start using this one and I like how it works. I'll get to the how to access the extensions. I want to just show you some of them so that you understand why they're worth having. Here's one I like. If you see the little stack of books, it's probably, let me stop the share and go back to the other share. So this is at I have an extension that's the little books up here. Oh yeah, you can write a comment. Let me, I'll do one on this to show you how that works. So this one actually, at places like Amazon, this extension, it's called the library extension. And what it does is I put in a couple libraries that I use routinely. And when I look for this title, which is Blaine Bettinger's new version of his DNA book, it looks at the library catalogs for the libraries I've chosen. And it tells me, oh, the state library has a copy of this, which, you know, doesn't do it much any good at the moment because none of us can go in there, but it is at least a way you can see whether your local library has a book before you buy it. So let me go through and show you the awesome screenshot with the comment. We'll capture the visible part of the page and we'll crop it so that it's like this. And then you see the text, and I could start saying like when the, whoops, And then I could download, print that off, download it. And sometimes I will, you'll see that I've put text on an image. You can't write a huge long, you wouldn't want to do a whole long paragraph the way it works, but if you want to put some level of, clarifying a date or a place or something like that, you can. But it's a really handy feature, and I admit I really like the library extension. So how do we get them? Well, first thing you do is if you go to your browser, and there's this little settings thing up here for Chrome, and it says more tools and says extensions. And these are the various extensions I have on my computer at the moment. So I have the awesome screenshot. I have the Earth view, which is the pictures when I open a new browser. I have the library extension. And I have the Mendeley Web Importer is dealing with citations and keeping track of sources. But if you go to the Chrome extension store, which I Google, every time I want to go to it, I Google Chrome extensions or Chrome extension store. And you can see there's one, this on my personal computer, I have this because I use Pinterest a lot. And so it lets me, instead of having to go to Pinterest and add something, it's an extension, and like the awesome screenshot, I click the Pinterest button up in the corner, and it uploads the pin to what I'm looking at as a pin. Stay focused is one where you can block out times, for example, to say during your work hours, you're not going, it won't let you go to Facebook or Pinterest. There are various others. Grammarly checks your grammar, which is so-so in its application. Here's another one that just does the full page screen capture. A to-do list, all sorts of other things that they, there's some games, a different translator. I use Google Translate, so I don't need that. And so there are others, like there's one to read a page out loud to you if you're struggling with reading. And so what you would do to add one of these, let's see, which is one that, weather. Let's say I wanted to add a weather extension. So we'll click on Weatherly, and it tells me what it does. I can choose metric or English once I get into it. So we're going to add it to Chrome and hit Add Extension. Come on. Okay. And now up here, there's a little icon, and if I click on Weatherly, it brings up the weather for my location without having to go to a separate web page. And then I click back and it goes away. So they're pretty simple to add. They want you to use them. So this is kind of nice to just be able to get that quickly. It's less true here where I have windows right in front of my desk, but those of you who've seen my office, I may leave this on because I can't tell what the weather's like. Once I get into the library and in my office, I'm completely out of it. So I may actually leave that one there so that when I go back to the library, I can check the weather. The advantage to these is they're generally faster and use less computing power than going to the website. You know, if I go to the weather.com website, it's getting me all sorts of ads and it slows down running and all of that. So that gives you kind of the, so let's go back and see what else we can find. So they're all, as I said, they're all sorts of interesting ones. So some of it is if there's something you want it to do, there's a good chance that somebody else wants the same functionality. And so they will, there's a good chance you will have found it. So you can get a news tab. Here's one that, so let's add this one, because this will be fun. So I'm going to add this one to Chrome, since you guys all have figured out I'm a crazy cat lady. And what this one will do is if I'm just needing a momentary smile, I click on that and a cat picture comes up. I'm surprised it's not changing. Usually those change. So I don't know why that one isn't. Let's try refreshing the page. Nope, I don't know. So then let's say I decide, okay, it's only giving me the same cat picture. I don't want it. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. We're going to back up and see where it says remove from Chrome. Hit remove and it's gone. So if you don't like one of them, it's easy to take it off. But yeah, as I said, the for a lot of, you know, for most of my use of extensions, like 85% of my use of extensions is the awesome screenshot. But they're really helpful. I wouldn't put too many of them on because it's going to slow things down too much, but 2 or 3 of them to let you have something that helps you with your productivity is actually quite good. So you can see there's this whole range of things that, you know, this one, it's not this one. I have a night on my personal computer. I have a shifting to bluer light later in the evening because it's supposedly to help you sleep better. I'm not sure it does. So you can do all sorts of interesting things. But today, the reason I wanted to show you this is things like that screen capture, the awesome screenshot, can really help with keeping track, you know, keeping copies of things, putting a little label on it to say, hey, you know, this is why I saved this. So, you know, let's do it for here. Can't do it on that one. But let's do this. Oh, not working there. Let's go back to Ancestry. You know, let's say I was doing a presentation on Ancestry, and I could capture the visible part of the page. I can crop it down to the search box. Let's say this is what I want to put in a PowerPoint, and I hit crop. And let's say I wanted to, and I can change the color on this so it contrasts with, and let's say I want to draw the arrow so that in the PowerPoint it shows that we're going to click on to show more options. And then I can go back and click that down and hit the screenshot again. And once again, crop down, whoops. To this. And then have that as the next slide to show what happens when I click this. And so you've seen, and most of you have probably seen this in my presentations where I have done something like this and had that image and then this image. And that's one reason I like this is you can crop down as well as have the whole page. And I think that's really handy to be able to do. So, okay, the easiest way to find them is, let's open a new page. As you can see, here's my Google Earth. This is somewhere in Somalia. It's Google Chrome extensions.
We're seeing all the people.
Thank you. All right, there we go. So, interesting picture from Somalia. If you just do Google Chrome and extensions comes up, and click there, and it's the extensions part of the Chrome web store. And most of these are free. That's one nice thing. So, and then you can look down and see what there is. They've got some categories. And so on. And there are, here's another one that's a web page screenshot. And here's another one. So, you know, there are several, but I recommend having some sort of screenshot extension, just because it is sometimes easy. You know, particularly with the genealogy websites, you often get some weird ways things print, and it's nice to be able to grab exactly what you're looking at, even if you print the whole thing and staple it together. But yeah, it's chrome.google.com/webstore/category/extensions ? HL =$EN. So you can see why I figure it's easier to just Google Chrome extensions than to try to remember that. So, yes, it works to get part of a census page. So let's go to a census. Come on. I think everybody in my building is using internet at the moment because it's been really slow this morning. Okay, I'm not getting a census coming up, but we'll do a passenger list because it's the same idea. So you go into the record, you know, maybe you print off the whole thing, but then here's Cyril, and what we can do is we can clip. I have found for Ancestry that the capture visible part of the page and then cropping works better than the captured selected area, which you only take the cropped area. So so we'll do this, and then we'll crop it down to just, oops, doing the wrong thing. And there is an undo button, which is very nice. So I'm going to crop it so we pretty much, we've got, and I'm still in the wrong thing, crop. I am going to leave the column headers and the ship name and the date, as well as the Leroyd, and now I'll crop. And then I could switch to the box and highlight him and hit done. And then I can, you know, and so like if you're writing up a report, this might be a lot better than having the whole page of the passenger list, which you wouldn't be able to read when you get it down to a small enough size to be on one page of paper. So that's why I like to, and this way it forces me, as I'm looking at the records, to figure out what I'm going to want to show and what's important enough that I want to keep track of it when it comes time to write something up. So let's, so yeah, it does work on the records at various genealogy websites. Yeah, I've used the snipping tool. I just find this easier. Because you can do a little more of the manipulation as one step, as opposed to snipping and then having to go into a graphics program. And I'm all for keeping things easy if I can. So you know, that's, and you know, one reason I am often doing the screenshots is where I want to emphasize something, either for a report or a PowerPoint. So being able to easily highlight with a box or an arrow or some such is a really helpful tool. And you know, I could download this now. It's a graphics file, and I could put it in a PowerPoint or a Word document. Okay. So, you know, I haven't obviously gone through everything available, but I hope that this is enough to give you an idea of the sorts of things that there might be. As I said, some are fun and some are for productivity. There are various things for bringing your Gmail or Outlook in a quick look. If you use Evernote or OneNote, quickly clipping something into one of those, or into Google Docs. So, you know, I basically just wanted to make you aware that these things exist, because I'm guessing that most of you didn't know that they existed. And that there are some ways you can make your life easier with some of them. Any other questions? No questions. Okay. Well, I hope this has given you some ideas of things that you might find useful. And question?
No,
Yes,
I was
I have
just
a question.
gonna say
Okay.
I'll definitely try it.
Yeah. And Is it Laurice?
Yeah, Loris. Um,
Laurice.
Can you take this screenshot that you've made and add it to your record in Ancestry or Family Tree,
Yes.
something like that?
Yeah, anywhere that would take a regular graphics file, regular
That may be
photograph.
something that you could show us. I have no idea. I have pictures that I could put on and stuff like that, and I have no idea how to do it.
I will add that to the list of things to do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Literally right now, I've got my Post-it note of add picture to Ancestry.
BJ, I'm pretty new to this, as you know, and I have some medical issues that cause me to be able to use a touchtone screen a lot easier. And I've tried using the snipping tool and I have a problem with it. And does it only take a PDF or a PNG file when it's the snipping tool? And that's what I think when I do some things, it comes out as either a photograph, which I don't want it to be sometimes.
Yeah, I think it is only a graph. Certainly the awesome screenshot is only a graphics file.
Okay.
Yeah. That's, accessibility is not always the first thing on these developers' minds. And one problem is that there isn't a good way to deal with reading from a graphics file yet.
Okay.
And that's the problem. Nobody's invented. I mean, we have this when we go through it with digitizing newspapers as well. There are issues because the machines still don't read things as easily as the human eye. If it's not, if it's a graphics image.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure someday somebody will invent something, but unfortunately that's a problem right now.
Thank you.
So there are some extensions that from what I understand, do a better job of reading regular web pages than the built-in Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not looked into those.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about the library edition. I'll look into that. Yeah, you can capture a newspaper, article, photo, whatever, and it's a graphics file, and you use it with any other graphics file from the way whatever you get from awesome screenshot. Yeah, I haven't had any problem with Ancestry, either the library edition or my personal subscription. Probably the easiest thing to do is, do you know how to clear your cache and go back in? Rita?
I think I do.
So yeah, what you want to do is, if you're in Chrome, you go into settings, you click the little yellow thing there, and into, which is it's some other thing, but if you go into settings.
Can you show me?
Let me turn on the screen share. So it looks yellow at the moment because I need to update Chrome. It's usually other, like 3 little bars or something. But if you click there, it's always the rightmost thing on this. And you go into settings. And then under privacy and security, if you click here, and you can, I would say, do most of these, and then you know, under basic, just do all of the cookies and other site data. And it'll sign you out of everything and you'll have to sign back in. But often that works. There's been a bit of a glitch. And then close out your browser and open it up again. And if that doesn't work, I don't know what the answer is, but that fixes a good chunk of the problem.
Thank you. I will give it a try.
Yeah, and it's something it's worth doing periodically anyway, just to clear out the remnants that get stuck. You know, it's like the coffee pot that gets stuck at the bottom occasionally.
Sludge in the bottom.
Yeah, it's the sludge in the bottom of the
Thank you.
browser.
Thank you, that helps.
So, okay. So I hope some of you will join us tonight about house histories. And I hope this gave you some food for thought of, you know, technology is great when it works. And some of these really are helpful in terms of either making your life easier to do certain aspects of things you want to do, or they're just plain fun. I freely admit I love getting the picture of some obscure place every time I just opened up a new window in Chrome, and I've got this really interesting picture from Australia of red and gray something or other. So I admit that I find great joy. You know, it's the little things sometimes that, you know, I'll probably never make it to this place in Australia, but it looks really interesting. So, so thanks for showing up. I appreciate how many of you guys take the time to come join me on these, and hope to see you again sometime soon.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Don't go too crazy with cabin fever.
Thank you, BJ.
I'm already there.